So what I'm going to do is just give you the latest episode of India's, maybe the world's longest running soap opera, which is cricket. And may it run forever because it gives people like me a living. It's got everything that you'd want a normal soap opera to want. It's got love, joy, happiness, sadness, tears, laughter, lots of deceit, intrigue. And like all good soaps, it jumps 20 years when the audience interest changes. And that's exactly what cricket has done. It's jumped 20 years into a 20-over game. And that's what I'm going to talk about, how a small change leads to a very big revolution. But we weren't always like that. Cricket wasn't always this speed-driven generations game. There was a time when you played cricket, you played timeless test matches. When you played on till the game got over. And there was this game in March 1939 that started on the 3rd of March and ended on the 14th of March. And it only ended because the English cricketers had to go from Durban to Cape Town, which is a 2-hour train journey, to catch the ship that left on the 17th because the next ship wasn't around for a long time. So the match was ended in between. And one of the English batsmen said, you know what, another half an hour and we would have won. Another half an hour after 12 days. There were 2 Sundays in between, but of course, Sundays are church days. So you don't play on Sundays. And one day it rained, so they all sat around making friends with each other. But there's a reason why India fell in love with cricket, because we had about the same pace of life. The Mahabharata was like that as well, wasn't it? You fought by day, then it was sunset, so everyone went back home. And then you worked out your strategy and you came and fought the next day and then you went back home again. The only difference between the Mahabharata and our cricket was that in cricket, everybody was alive to come back and fight the next day. Princes patronized the game, not because they loved the game, but because it was a means of ingratiating themselves to the British rulers. But there's one other reason why India fell in love with cricket, which is all you needed was a plank of wood and a rubber ball, and any number of people could play it anywhere. Take a look. You could play it in the dump with some rocks over there. You could play it in a little alley. You couldn't hit square anywhere because the bat hit the wall. Don't forget the air conditioning and the cable wires. You could play it on the banks of the Ganga. That's the cleanest the Ganga has been for a long time. Or you could play many games in one small patch of land, even if you didn't know which game you were actually in. As you can see, you can play anywhere. But slowly the game moved on, you know. Finally, you don't always have 5 days. So we moved on and we started playing 50-over cricket. And then an enormous accident took place. In Indian sport, we don't make things happen. Accidents happen and we're in the right place at the right time sometimes. And we won this World Cup in 1983. And suddenly we fell in love with the 50-over game and we played it virtually every day. There was more 50-overs cricket than anywhere. But there was another big date. 1983 was when we won the World Cup. 1991-92, we found a finance minister and a prime minister willing to let the world look at India, rather than be this great country of intrigue and mystery and this closed country. And so we allowed multinationals into India. We cut customs duties, we reduced import duties, and we got all the multinationals coming in with multinational budgets who looked at per capita income and got very excited about the possibilities in India and were looking for a vehicle to reach every Indian. And there's only 2 vehicles in India, one real, one scripted. The scripted one is what you see in the movies. The real one was cricket. And so one of my friends sitting right here in front of me, Ravi Dhariwal from Pepsi, decided he's going to take it all over the world. And Pepsi was this big revolution because they started taking cricket all over. And so cricket started becoming big. Cricket started bringing riches in. Television started covering cricket. For a long time, television said, we won't cover cricket unless you pay us to cover it. Then they said, okay. The next rights were sold for $55 million. The next right was sold for $612 million. So it's a bit of a curve, that. And then another big accident happened in our cricket. England invented 20 overs cricket and said the world must play 20 overs cricket, just as England invented cricket and made the rest of the world play it. Thank God for them. And so India had to go and play the T20 World Cup, you see. India didn't want to play the T20 World Cup, but we were forced to play by an 8-1 margin. And then something very dramatic happened. We got to the final, and then this moment that will remain enshrined forever for everybody. Take a look. The Pakistani batsman trying to clear the field.
Srishant takes it! India win! What a match for a 2020 final. India, the world champions.
India T20 champions. But what a game we had. MS Dhoni got it right in the end, but Misbah-ul-Haq, what a player.
A massive, massive success. India, the world T20 champions.
Suddenly, India discovered this power of 20 overs cricket. The accident, of course, there was the batsman thought the bowler was bowling fast. If he had bowled fast, the ball would have gone where it was meant to go, but it didn't go. And we suddenly discovered that we could be good at this game. And what it also did was it led to a certain pride in the fact that India could be the best in the world. It was at a time when investment was coming in, India was feeling a little more confident about itself. And so there was a feeling that there's a great pride in what we can do. And thankfully for all of us, the English are very good at inventing things. And the gracious people that they are, they let the world become very good at it. And so England invented T20 cricket and allowed India to hijack it. It was not like re-engineering that we do in medicine. We just took it straight away as is. And so we launched our own T20 leagues. 6 weeks, city versus city. It was a new thing for us. We'd only ever supported our country. There were only 2 areas in which India was very proud about their country representing itself on the field. One was war, the Indian Army, which you don't like to happen very often. The other was Indian cricket. Now suddenly we had to support city leagues, but the people getting into these city leagues were people who'd taken their cues from the West. America's a home of leagues. And they said, right, we'll build some glitzy leagues here in India. But was India ready for it? Because cricket for a long time in India was always organized. It was never promoted. It was never sold. It was organized. And look what they did with our beautiful, nice, simple family game. All of a sudden, you had that happening. An opening ceremony to match every other. This was in India that was buying Chorus. This was in India that was buying Jaguar. This was in India that was adding more mobile phones per month than New Zealand's population twice over. So it was a different India, but it was also a slightly more orthodox India that was very happy to be modern, but didn't want to say that to people. And so they were aghast when the cheerleaders arrived. Everyone secretly watched them, but everyone claimed not to. The new owners of Indian cricket were not the old princes. They were not bureaucrats who were forced into sport because they didn't actually love it. These were people who ran serious companies. And so they started promoting cricket big time, started promoting clubs big time, and they've started promoting them with huge money behind it. I mean, the IPL had $2.3 billion before a ball was bowled. $1.6 billion for television revenue over 10 years, and another $70 million plus from all these franchises that were putting in money. And then they had to appeal to their cities, but they had to do it like the West, right? Because we were setting up leagues. But what they were very good at doing was making it very localized. So just to give you an example of how they did it, not Manchester United-style promotion, but very Mumbai-style promotion. Take a look.
We rock the world.
दम लगाएंगे, जान लगाएंगे, लोहा गला देंगे, पानी जला देंगे, दुनिया हिला देंगे हम, दुनिया हिला देंगे हम, दुनिया हिला दे हम। सागर पे हम, सड़कों पे हम, पटरी पे हम, गलियों में हम, अपनी ज़मीं की चाहत में हम, ज़मीं की चाहत में हम, डंडे उड़ा देंगे, छक्के छुड़ा देंगे, जलवा दिखा देंगे। We rock the world. उड़ा देंगे हम, दुनिया हिला दे हम।
We rock the world.
Of course, a lot of people said maybe they dance better than they play. But that's all right. What it did also was it changed the way we looked at cricket. All along, if you wanted a young cricketer, you picked him up from the bylanes of your own little locality, your own city, and you were very proud of the system that produced those cricketers. Now, all of a sudden, if you're a bowler shot, if Mumbai were a bowler shot, for example, they needn't go to Kalwa Devi or Shivaji Park or somewhere to source him. They could go to Trinidad. This was the new India, wasn't it? This is the new world, where you can source from anywhere as long as you get the best product at the best price. And all of a sudden, Indian sport had awakened to the reality that you can source the best product for the best price anywhere in the world. So the Mumbai Indians flew in Dwayne Bravo from Trinidad and Tobago overnight. And when he had to go back to represent the West Indies, they asked him, when do you have to reach? He said, I have to be there by a certain time, so I have to leave today. And we said, no, no, no. It's not about when you have to leave. It's about when do you have to reach there. And so he said, I've got to reach on date X. And they said, fine, you play date X minus 1. So he played in Hyderabad, went straight after the game, went from the stadium to Hyderabad airport, sat in a private corporate jet, first refueling in Portugal, second refueling in Brazil. He was in West Indies in time. Never would India have thought on this scale before. Never would India have said, I want a player to play one game for me, and I will use a corporate jet to send him all the way back to Kingston, Jamaica, to play a game. And I just thought to myself, wow, we've arrived somewhere in the world, you know? We've arrived somewhere. We're thinking big. But what this also did was it started marrying the two most important things in Indian cricket, which is cricket and the movies in Indian entertainment. It was cricket and the movies, and they came together because people in the movies now started owning clubs. And so people started going to the cricket to watch Preity Zinta. They started going to the cricket to watch Shah Rukh Khan. And something very interesting happened. We started getting song and dance in Indian cricket. And so it started resembling the Indian movies more and more. And of course, if you're in Preity Zinta's team, as you will see on the clip that follows, if you did well, you got a hug from Preity Zinta. So that was the ultimate reason to do well. Take a look. Everyone watching Preity Zinta. And then, of course, there was Shah Rukh playing the Kolkata crowd. We'd all seen matches in Kolkata. We'd never seen anything like this. Shah Rukh with the Bengali song, getting the audiences all worked up for Kolkata. Not for India, but for Kolkata. But take a look at this. An Indian film star hugging a Pakistani cricketer because they'd won in Kolkata. Can you imagine? And you know what the Pakistani cricketer said? I wish I was playing for Preity Zinta's team. But I thought I'd take this opportunity. There's a few people from Pakistan in here. I'm so happy that you're here because I think we can show that we can work together and be friends, right? We can play cricket together, we can be friends. So thank you very much for coming, all of you from Pakistan. There was criticism too, because they said players are being bought and sold. Are they grain? Are they cattle? Because we had this auction, you see. How do you fix a price for a player? And so the auction that followed literally had people saying, bang, so many $1 million for so-and-so player. There it is.
Dhoni now at $1,500,000. Chennai. Shane Warne sold $450,000.
Suddenly, a game which earned its players 50 rupees a day, so 250 rupees for a test match, but if you finish in 4 days, you only got 200. The best Indian players who played every test match, every one-day international, the top-of-the-line players, central contracts are $220,000 in a whole year. Now they were getting $500,000 for 6 days' work. Then Andrew Flintoff came by from England. He got $1.5 million, and he went back and said, for 4 weeks, I'm earning more than Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard, and I'm earning more than the footballers. Wow. And where was he earning it from? From a little club in India. Could you ever imagine that day would come? $1.5 million for 6 weeks' work. That's not bad, is it? So, as at $2.3 billion before the first ball was bowled, what India was doing, though, was benchmarking itself against the best in the world, and it became a huge brand. Lalit Modi was on the cover of Business Today. IPL became the biggest brand in India. And because of our elections, had to be moved to South Africa, and we had to start the tournament in 3 weeks. Move a whole tournament to South Africa in 3 weeks. But we did it. You know why? Because no country in the world works as slowly as we do till 3 weeks before an event. And nobody works as fast as we do in the last 3 weeks. Our population, which for a long time we thought was a problem, suddenly became our biggest asset because there were more people watching, the huge consuming class, everybody came to watch the cricket. But it also made cricket the only sport in India, which is a pity, but in India, every other sport pushes cricket to become big, which is a bit of a tragedy of our times. Now, just last minute before I go, there's a couple of side effects of all this. For a long time, India was this country of poverty, dust, beggars, snake charmers, filth, Delhi belly. People wrote Delhi belly stories before they came. And all of a sudden, India was this land of opportunity. Cricketers all over the world said, you know, we love India. We love to play in India. And that felt good, you know. We said the dollar's quite powerful, actually. Can you imagine? You've got the dollar on view, and there's no Delhi belly in India anymore. There's no filth, there's no beggars, all the snake charmers have vanished, everybody is gone. Just tells you how the capitalist world rules. Right, so, finally, an English game that India usurped a little bit, but T20 is going to be the next missionary in the world. If you want to take the game around the world, it's got to be the shortest form of the game. You can't take a timeless test to China and say play 14 days with no result in the end, or you can't take it all over the world. So that's what T20 is doing. Hopefully it'll make everyone richer, hopefully it'll make the game bigger, and hopefully it'll give cricket commentators more time in the business. Thank you very much. Thank you.